everyone, it's Laura Boyd here. Now, what keeps me well? Well, it's quite simple actually. I just try and take time for myself every day. Now, that can be easier said than done, but sometimes it's just getting up a little bit earlier, sitting on the sofa, having a cup of tea in the peace and quiet, maybe watching a bit of TV that I want to watch, or ideally sticking in my earphones and going for a walk on my own just to escape everything that's going on. I find that really helps keep my mental health in check. I hope you manage to do something like that every day as well.
What keeps me fit and healthy? I think writing songs I find very therapeutic. It keeps my mental health in check. And spending time with all my pals, like the guys in the band, we love each other dearly, you know. And we'll be together forever, I hope. In fact, I think I know that, you know, and I think even just like the night and having their families come round and everyone can share the occasion and see what a beautiful thing we're doing, you know. You're walking onto a stage to a couple of thousand people, it's not to be sniffed at, you know, it's things you dream as a wee kid, and I think they see that we're living our dreams, and then it's like, it makes them feel great because they feel like they've achieved something by bringing up a lovely kid, you know, or whatever. So it all works, mate.
What does self-management mean to me? It means doing the things that I'll thank myself for later. Going for a walk, doing the dishes, making time for some mindfulness practice.
What keeps me well is getting a balance between doing physical activities that make me feel energised and connected with nature, like wild swimming and cycling through my local park, and doing more restful activities that I know are good for my mental health, like yoga, meditation and reading. Taking that time for myself and getting that balance right is what keeps me well.
In my role as a community links practitioner, self-management is important. I think it's something that I've realised I don't always pay enough attention to in my role, and I think self-management is making sure that I look after myself and my emotional needs and your energy levels, and being able to support patients that we work with the best possible way without ignoring your own emotional well-being. So it's something you do anyway, but we probably give people more allowance and time that we do ourselves in recharging our own emotional batteries.
When did you first hear about self-management? To be honest, when I started working at the Alliance 9 years ago, but the more I found out and the more that I learned about the concept, I realised that it's what I'd been doing for a long time without actually knowing that's what it was called.
My self-management tips, I think, probably revolve around helping other people. I found early on that I hated the attention and I hated the sympathy and I hated the charity of other people. It just made me feel a bit dependent and useless. But when I was able to help other people, it made me feel useful, and I could forget about myself for a while. I could forget about my own troubles for a while, and I could concentrate on other people's. And that's what I try to encourage in Finding Your Feet, is that other amputees help each other. It's not about you anymore and what you need or want, it's about what you can do for other people. And I think the benefits from that to that individual are huge, without you realising it, which is a nice wee trick. So thank you to Alliance for helping us encourage the self-management, everyone's independence and looking after themselves.
We provide people with resources and guidance that gives them the tools they need to create and use a playlist of personally meaningful music, which has positive impacts on their well-being. So for us, self-management is all about giving people the tools to do something for themselves that improves their well-being, and not only actively, participate in creating that, but then using that tool in the way that works best for them, and choosing how the people around them who are supporting them can use that as well. I think in terms of what benefits self-management practices provide us as an organisation, is it helps us to always bring our work back to the people who can benefit most from it. We can hear from people with lived experience what works for them. We can gather sort of practical and genuinely useful advice from the people who are experts, and then be able to share that so that other people can use a playlist as part of their self-management as well.
I first heard about self-management about 8 years ago when I first became involved with the Health and Safety Alliance. I work and I joined the self-management network. So what does stress management mean to me? On a personal level, because I do have a long-term health condition, self-management means to me being involved with my own care plan and taking steps to manage my own health and my own condition. And this would include for me things like attending medical appointments, managing my medication, and looking after myself, and also recognising when I need to take breaks or slow down, so planning and pacing, and when I have to do things that will help to look after myself. On a professional level, self-management means to me teaching people some tools and techniques that will help them to manage their condition and improve their own health and their well-being, and enable them to engage fully in their own care plans. So, for example, some things that might give people the confidence to ask questions about their health, about the care that they're being given, and it might also help them to assert what their own needs are in terms of their health. So some of the benefits that I've found of stress management practice has provided me with is it helps me to stay in control of my own health, and it helps me to live my life to my full potential.
Something that I feel is really important to point out and is misunderstood about self-management is that it's not about managing everything yourself. I think it's a really empowering thing when you understand that that first step to self-management is asking for some help to allow you and enable you to self-manage. And that's what we try to do at Supported with our Who Cares for Carers project.
Hi, my name is Amy McGrath and I'm deafblind. When I'm out navigating with my guide dog, a lot of changes have been taking place, and in a moment it's a land of disappearing cubs. So rather than fear this and work out how on earth I'm going to start moving around with all these changes, I changed myself. And now, when I go out, I use my guide dog and my cane at the same time. So if you like, it's a two-pronged attack on my hometown. Thanks for listening.
What's something that's misunderstood about self-management? That you are on your own, you're just going to be left to it, when in actual fact there's resources, there's people, there's all sorts out there that can help support you in your self-management journey.
If I think about self-management, I think about it in a technological sense, in that my life is much more governable at my fingertips, with the examples of talking kitchen gadgetry, talking satellite navigation, and also assistive technology in the workplace with talking computers, but in a personal health sense, a talking blood glucometer as a diabetic is essential and allows me to really have my independence at my fingertips.
Self-management practices provide me with a lot of benefits. They can help me feel calm and relaxed, they can help me set a routine, and they can help be a part of my daily life, making my health and well-being my top priority and helping me manage my health well. Something that's misunderstood about self-management practices is they aren't very fun, but self-management practices can be really fun. For example, one of my favourite self-management practices is bubble breathing. You can blow a lot of bubbles, it helps you relax, and you can look after your health and well-being.
Self-management means to me ensuring that children and young people have all the tools they need to make sure that their mental health and well-being is as good as it possibly can be.
So how do I do self-management? Well, part of that is doing exactly something like this. Stopping for a break, spending some time in the garden and soaking up nature, because I know it's good for my mental health and well-being. We won't see the sun for too much longer. Another important part of self-management is knowing that others are there to help you, but you have to communicate that, so take control.
What keeps me well at work? For me, it's important to know that what I do and the organisation I work for is making a positive difference. Working with like-minded people, where we share a vision and purpose, makes me feel connected and part of a well-functioning team. I work in a supportive environment where we feel respected and valued. Having a focus on well-being allows us to bring the best out of each other. To me, working with colleagues who feel motivated gives me a great sense of satisfaction. I'm very aware of how important it is to check in with colleagues and for them to feel comfortable sharing their ideas and thoughts. This allows us to support each other through good and bad, and believe me, there's been really good and there's also been really bad. It's difficult to ignore the challenging environment we're working in. However, I do try to focus on the positive and not get wound up over the things that I can't change or influence.
How do I self-manage? I self-manage by going to the gym and doing some weightlifting. It's something I've done now for about 7 years, and it really helps me to de-stress and relax, and really helps with self-confidence as well. If I've had a stressful day, I go there and I feel after a session on top of the world and like I've really achieved something. So that's just what I'm off to do now.
You know what, I think we should all look after our health and well-being. Physical and mental health are so important. A few years ago I got into running, and I always termed it as, this is me running from my problems. But actually I was running and I went round a circle and I found myself. And I find it really freeing, and other people have spoken about it as well. If you just get out of the house, if you can, and go for a walk or a run, I just think it's great. It's a way to connect with nature, and it's a way to hopefully help your physical and mental health. So whatever it is, if you can get a bit of movement, then it really can help. And sometimes putting in the old well-being podcast can help too. And volunteering. I've started to do quite a bit of that in the last couple of years since lockdown, and realising that you can help others, and whatever is going on in your life, to know that there are others that could benefit from your help as well. But I always say, never be afraid to ask for help, and never be afraid to work on yourself and try to do what you can to help improve your own physical and mental health. And if you see me out in the streets around Glasgow, sweating like mad, just know that in some way I'm helping myself, even though it might not look like it.
Oh gosh, do you know what? I think my family, the love of and support of my family, I think I drive them completely nuts. I think I always have. But they're just there for me, and I'm also aware that not everybody has that kind of love and support in their lives. But I have been very fortunate. I think it came from my mum and dad. I think it came from their parents as well. And I think that in this world that we live in now, you know, it doesn't need to be a mum and dad that do that for you. It's just having somebody in your life that's looking out for you.
Becoming a member of long-term conditions Hebrides has changed my life. Being housebound and living in a remote location, I felt alone and vulnerable. With the daily messages and sessions, LTCH creates a safe space in which it's okay not to be okay. A community where unlikely friendships blossom. I no longer perceive myself as a burden, but a valued member of society, one who stops, breathes, and finds joy in the smallest things.
Hi, I'm Amanda. The benefits that self-management has provided me with is the ability to take control of my long COVID. It's made me share my experiences, be a self-advocate, return to frontline duties as a paramedic with the Scottish Ambulance Service, regain my British title as a BDFPA powerlifter, finish my Masters in Dementia at Stirling Uni, but most importantly, never ever give up.
The ability to control my action, thoughts and emotions has improved in my life after embracing self-management practices.
self-management practices daily at home. Through the use of apps, I can read my post, have access to product and cooking instructions, giving me a sense of independence and self-satisfaction.
Self-management is something that I try and incorporate into my daily life. It helps deal with stress and any challenges that might be thrown my way. And to do this, I use creative writing for well-being, in particular journaling, just to get things out of my head and onto paper, and that can help to ground me.
My name's June Dixon, and central to my self-management and my self-care is my garden. What that's taught me is that watering little and often is the way to flourish, especially in terms of your own self-care.
Self-management is a journey, and on your journey you will be able to pick up new knowledge, find people or organisations that will be able to support you with your health and well-being, and find out more about different health professionals that will be able to help you. It's really important to recognise that self-management isn't something that you do on your own. I think a lot of people feel that you just become more isolated and lonely. You don't, you actually build a little community for yourself using self-management properly. And it's really, really important to build up your knowledge. The more that you know, you will be able to look after yourself more efficiently. Our strapline at the North Highland Women's Wellbeing Hub is that knowledge is power.
Implementing self-management techniques has allowed me to finally find myself. I have learned to like, love and be in control of my mindset, my well-being and my health. And putting these connections together allows me to go forward in life with joy and hope, knowing that I'm finally living the life I should have lived all those years, and I am worth it.
Now, I don't really have to put a lot of thought into this because it's become very much part of my life, with health all round, various activities from walking to talking to yoga, etc., etc.
I use self-management practices daily at home. Through the use of apps, I can read my post, have access to product and cooking instructions, giving me a sense of independence and self-satisfaction.
Hi, I'm Fiona. I'm the founder of Spider Arts and an art psychotherapist working on the Cambulance Art Therapy programme. Children and young people attend the Cambulance for all kinds of reasons, but most of all to help them with their mental health and well-being. When young people attend their art therapy sessions, they're using art making to express themselves in all sorts of different ways. but we're also helping them think about what they can do for their own well-being when they're not attending therapy. We help them develop their own coping strategies to help them self-manage their health and well-being. The Cambulans recently visited a primary school, and we asked the primary 7 children what they did to help them feel calm. This is what they said.
Since being with the Be Well project, I have gained my self-esteem, my confidence, and now again have a purpose in life. If it hadn't been for them, I would not be here.
So I first heard about self-management at a peer support group I went along to, where people were sharing their experiences of how they coped with some of the challenges. I found that very powerful, and I also found it hopeful that I'd be able to take back control of my life.
Self-management is a journey, and on your journey you will be able to pick up new knowledge, find people or organisations that will be able to support you with your health and well-being, and find out more about different health professionals that will be able to help you. It's really important to recognise that self-management isn't something that you do on your own. I think a lot of people feel that you just become more isolated and lonely. You don't. You actually build a little community for yourself using self-management properly. And it's really, really important to build up your knowledge. The more that you know, you will be able to look after yourself more efficiently. Our strapline at the North Highland Women's Wellbeing Hub is that knowledge is power.